it
I just
is.
went live.
Oh, never mind. We'll talk about it later.
Sorry, I already hit the live button. So,
That's all
hey,
right. Hi,
everybody.
everybody.
It's another Friday night. Boy, did this week go by fast. I mean, the days are
It did.
just
It
zipping
did.
by. So, we all survived the Arctic blast. Woohoo! Um, I know a lot of our friends in the South are going, "What the hell is this snow?" And I'm like, "Well, welcome to Western New York." And I remember mentioning that to Sherry. She's like, "The snow, I can't handle it." I said, "Well, now you know what it's like to kind of live in Western New York." And she goes, "You can stay in Western New York." But I've been seeing so many cute videos of. Shane was telling me he saw a video today of nuns playing, having a snowball fight. I think in Florida, and then there was one where firefighters officers were outside having fun having a snowball fight. So I guess some people were able to take advantage
Oh
and,
yeah. If you
and
if
have
you
fun with the
don't get
snow.
it and then you have it, it is fun.
Most definitely. So, and we really don't mind
Even
it.
cold temperatures. Like if you're, like I lived in Florida for many years, and when you're there and you actually get that one oddball day where it's close to frost or whatever, and everybody freaks out,
Hmm.
it's kind of nice. You get to put your sweater on, the one sweater you have.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I have a couple, but Allyson, the minimalist, buy her one sweater.
I'm just
But
saying,
no,
like when
yeah,
you live, or at least me, when I lived in that environment, I
yeah,
didn't have any winter clothes anymore. I was there
yeah,
so long that I wouldn't have. So
yeah. So for them, 50 degrees is like, oh my God, it's cold. For us, it's like, hey, that's balmy.
it's
Today
funny.
was
You just,
balmy.
yeah,
Today was
you do
25.
adjust, and I'm sure everybody here
Hmm.
knows that, but you really, I think probably depends on the person, some more than others, but you do adjust to the weather. Like my son in Arizona, I mean, I don't know if I could ever adjust to that, but like he does really well. Like he
I
was here
did.
in the summer when it was hot, even though we have humidity in Michigan, Arizona is super dry. Um, he is fine.
Yeah,
He's fine. He's just like, yeah, whatever. And I'm
yeah,
just like, oh
same
my
here.
God, ugh. Gets above 80,
Yeah, yeah, I got
84, and I'm
used to it.
complaining.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it was easier for me because without the humidity and coming back to the East Coast, I was kind of like, oh my God. But
Yeah.
you adjust to it. We've got 15 people already joining us. So first in line was Miss Taro D. Hello, Miss Taro D. And Allison's happy to, announce that Scott is doing so much better. He's doing great. So thank you
Yeah, he's
everybody
pretty
for all
much
the.
himself, honestly.
That's
But I'll
awesome.
I'll talk about him
Yep.
in a minute when I do my
And
weekly update thing.
And hello, Miss Nancy. And we're going to move
Hi,
down here a
Nancy.
little bit. And Silver is here. Hello, Silver. Shelby is here. That's Moon Fox.
Hello.
And moving on down, Teresa Hadarian. It's been a while. Hello. She goes, I welcome the cold weather for a short time. I live in Tampa, so
Oh, I
enjoy.
was in Tampa. Yep.
And Gar is here. And Nancy said, I lived in South Florida for 19 years, had
Oh,
snow flurries
wow.
once. Yep.
Wow. Yeah, we never had any snow the whole time I lived there. I was on
And
the West Coast
yeah,
near
Shelby
Tampa.
said the humidity kills me. And my hair. My hair, I don't worry about it so much, but that humidity, it's just like it sucks the life out of you. So, oh, we miss you too. So it's nice to have you back. And Jackie's Crystal Moon, Ireland got hit with a hurricane that they haven't had, I think they said was one of their strongest ever on record.
Oh, wow.
And I checked with her this morning, and she says, "Yep, we're all fine. No
Good.
fatalities or anything really bad that we heard about." And she goes, "But this winds were really whipping. They called it Hurricane Aowen." So, but yeah, even Ireland's getting hit with hurricanes now, really strong hurricanes. So the weather is changing. Hello, Moira. Oh, Carolyn is here. I had to go to the oncologist yesterday. Carolyn, I hope you are okay. You and Peter, it's good to see you in chat. I hope all went well. And yes, it has been very cold, but today we had a nice balmy 25 degrees compared to the single digits and the minuses. And Nancy also said, I was in Hollywood between Miami and Fort Lauderdale. Don't miss it at all. Too hot.
Yeah, it is. It was cooler where I was, Nancy. yeah, it just was.
And Shelby, yeah. Oh my God, the fires in LA, the snow in Florida, now Ireland and hurricanes. It's
I
like the Twilight
experienced
Zone.
the
But you
fires
know,
in
some of the
California too.
fires in LA were actually started, intentionally started. I don't know which ones, but there were a couple of them that they do believe was intentionally started. So that's just it,
I
I
don't
don't
think anything's
understand that.
been determined yet.
So it
Isn't
just
that still
kind of,
being investigated?
well, there was a lot of them, but from what Shan was watching, he pops in and watches those because I just can't. After a while, I just can't handle. It just breaks my heart to see that. And I think he mentioned that they were talking about maybe one or two, at least one that they know of. They're pretty certain. I just don't know which area. But yeah, it's unfortunate. Even if it's just one of them, it's still it just, yeah, people are people are cray cray. So, but yeah, just really quiet here on the front. My car almost didn't start. What was it, yesterday? No, what's today? Friday, through Wednesday. And I hadn't even started it the night before. I went out, let it run for a few minutes. But thankfully, it started. And at least the sun was out today for most of it. It was beautiful. Driving in the car, having that sun coming in, it was lovely. We had some blue skies. So and we had pizza. So I'm a very happy girl. Today was a good day. And I always look forward to Fridays, with my girl. And Monday, Nancy and I are going to be talking about goddess authors and books that, we grew up on or ones that we are familiar with. So a lot of nice things coming along. And yes, and Nancy says, all of your plants look so pretty, Allison.
Oh, thank you.
She's got a lot of them. So and Isadora is here. Hello, Isadora. And really, too, I just want to, again, thank everybody for coming and joining Jackie and I on Tuesday for our discussion with our moving forward with our investigative tarot, and we will be back Wednesday with a case. And 10,000 views. It's insane that our video is getting that many hits. So it's just
Well, her
it
case
feels
is
good.
blowing up.
It feels good to know that something that we can do to help. I love that. It's very rewarding. And Beth is here. Hello, Beth. And so nothing really exciting happened to me this week. Just still getting ready and packing and making phone calls and seeing who wants what, and waiting for the weather to warm up to start making deliveries. And so yeah, 10,000 is pretty amazing. So yeah.
Yep,
Um
that's a lot.
So I'll just hand it over to Allison, because Allison and I don't get to talk much during the week. So I'm even curious to see what she's been up to besides the pumpkin pie
um,
that she made that looked delicious.
I did. I bake for my man every week. He uh he has a sweet tooth. We do not eat the same way. He is not a carnivore. And well, actually, everybody's like this, but he has a sensitivity to seed oils. He gets like redness in his face and kind of like rosacea, that kind
Mm.
of thing. And when he doesn't eat any seed oils at all, it completely goes away. So I don't want him eating any, and he agrees, any kind of packaged anything, and any kind of baked goods that you buy, no matter what it is, it's got seed oils in it. So, anyways, that's the backstory. Because I started doing it several months
That's
ago, and
right.
that's why. But so I make him. He's always got cookie dough in his fridge because he likes to bake it off because he's kind of spoiled and he likes warm cookies, but he does do it himself
Mm.
when he gets home from work. But and I'm such a dork. I measure them all out so they all weigh the same, so I get the right amount out of each batch and all that. And then I make him something that's going to be a snack and his lunch. And it's been pumpkin muffins for the longest because he doesn't get tired of stuff. He likes the same, 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 same. I do have like three
Mm.
different types of cookies that I do, and we've been doing the pumpkin muffins. And I'm actually switching to blueberry muffins this week. That's the first switch in ages. He loves pumpkin pie. I've done a couple of them already, and I just made him one the other day because we didn't have school on Monday was Veterans or MLK. And
Mm-hmm.
then Tuesday and Wednesday we had snow days, and he totally shocked and surprised me and was in the waiting room when I got to the vet to take Scout for his appointment. He had
Oh.
offered to come, but he was gonna have to jump through hoops to make it happen. And I finally was just like, don't do it, don't do it, don't worry about it. I got it, I got it, I got it. And then I got there and he was there.
Oh.
So I
Man,
made him a
he's a
pie on
keeper.
Wednesday
Oh, how
and
sweet.
fully from scratch. I make my pie shells myself. And yeah, it was God, I tell you what, pumpkin pie, and I don't. Those of you that know, you know, when you make pumpkin pie and you really make it from scratch, the whole thing, like you blind bake the shell so that it's crisp. You don't just make your shell and then pour the filling in and all that and whatever. And you do it the right
Mm-hmm.
way. It takes a long time. It's like 4 hours. Like it's really long. So there's a chill time in the middle, and you got to bake the shell, and then you got to let it cool, and then you got to make the filling, and then you got to put it. It's just it's a lot. Um. Anyways, why am I talking about that? You mentioned the pie.
Well, I
Anyways,
bet you
enough
the pie
about
because it
that.
looked
So
good.
yeah, it looked
I love
very
pie.
good, and it smelled really lovely in here. And Scout was going bananas every time I'm in the kitchen cooking something. Whether it's baking, cooking, doesn't matter. Scout's always in there going nuts. Um. Anyways, what else? So yeah, I guess I
Okay.
already told it in the middle of that. So Monday was election day and MLK. We didn't have school. Then we had horrible, crazy, crazy, crazy
Inauguration.
cold weather. Super, super, super cold. It was like with the wind chill, it was like 20 below on Wednesday. Tuesday, it was like 10 below.
Wow.
No,
We didn't hit that low here. Wow.
yeah, it was five. I think it was 5 below on Monday, but with the wind chill, it felt like whatever the hell, I don't remember,
Mm-hmm.
18 below or something crazy like that. And then it was even colder on Wednesday. Um, but much to my surprise, they told us Monday evening
Hi,
that we weren't going to have
Emily.
school Tuesday and Wednesday. So they actually called it, which is what they should be doing, but they never do. They always wait till the
Yeah.
last minute. And we've had a lot of parents get really pissed off because like parents that have like grammar school age children, they have to have time to find childcare, like the parents that work,
Mm-hmm.
not these stay-at-home moms and dads and whatever. So yeah, I don't know if that's why they did it or what, but I'm really glad that they did. What else? And took Scout to the vet. By the time because I had a phone that appointment that I think I told you guys about. She kind of diagnosed him, which was accurate. Then by the time he went in on Tuesday, he was probably 85, 90% better at that point. I wasn't going to do any blood work because I felt like it was fine, but Anthony was not he was suggesting that I do it. It was he totally up to me, and he wasn't trying to pressure me at all. But he's like, yeah, but then and yeah, well, maybe you should, all this. I'm like, fine, and so I did. And anyways, his blood work came back, and it was all normal. So, like he said, at least I know. And the only thing that I did do is she had me give him probiotic, which is perfectly fine because he did have some diarrhea. And it's always a good idea to add that stuff back in. And I didn't end up doing a stool thing sample with him because I just didn't think that he needed it, and everything straightened out anyways. And
And
so,
he's
anyways,
right
he's
there. I
fine.
saw him sleeping on his
He's
doggy
fine.
bed, y'all. He's so cute when he's all curled
He
up with
is.
the
He's
little
so cute.
paws.
He might have a mild, and she even said that some dogs don't completely get rid of all of it. Um, but he's fine. He's fine. He's Scout again.
We're all
Thank
happy
God.
to hear that our
Hmm.
scout's good.
Yep.
Um, and let's see, while you're talking, I was starting some comments, and Carolyn was just letting everybody know I see an oncologist for her. I'm not sure if I know
Sjogren's and
Sjogren's and
fibromyalgia.
fibromyalgia. She said my blood cells are as healthy as a 15-year-old boy. Why she didn't say girl? I don't know. I
It's
don't know either,
funny.
Carolyn. Sometimes it happens. It's a faux pas. And Beth says, I always make my pumpkin pies from scratch. All pies, actually. I enjoy baking pies a lot. And
Same.
I miss my mom's. But even
Yep.
as good as a baker that my mom was, I loved everything. But my Aunt Louise always had the best apple pie. There was just something my Aunt Louise did, with her apple pies. And Beth said I made a de leche,
Dolce de leche.
dulce de leche banana bread. Oh, Shannon and I like the banana nut bread, especially from Starbucks, because they put the pecans and
You can
the
make that, Heather.
walnuts in
That's
it.
simple. It's so easy. Banana bread is like one of the easiest things you can make. I'll tell you
Well,
how. Should try. You should do it. It's easy. It's so
we don't
easy.
use our oven since we moved here. We don't use our oven. Even the stove's offset a little bit. So, and to
You
be
can turn
honest,
it on
I'm
and use it.
lazy.
Just
I'm
turn it
lazy.
on.
Hey, I'm open and honest. When it comes to that, I'm with cooking and everything. I'm just seem to be extra lazy these days. I've just got so much going on. And Tim says I love to bake too. Went
I
to
do. I
culinary
love to bake.
school. Went to culinary schools 2.5 years after army.
Nice.
Ooh, we got a chef in the house. I am known for your cheesecakes. Ooh,
Baker.
nice, Tim. Tim, did you ever think of opening your own bakery or something? That sounds excellent. Carol's like, okay, stop it. You're making me want sweets. I know, but cheesecake, I don't know, better than Cheesecake Factory, though I don't know if I've ever had a Cheesecake Factory. But there is a place called Say Cheesecake in North Tonawanda, not far from here. And I stopped in a couple weeks ago, and told Shan, come on, let's just treat ourselves to something nice. He'd never had anything from there. And they have scone. I mean, this is all homemade there. They got scones and brownies and cheesecake. And I got this, it was chocolate peanut butter. And it was just delicious. It was light. You could tell they use really, real good ingredients from scratch, because you don't have that really, for me, I can tell my stomach and how I feel after eating something that's got a lot of crap in it compared to something that's homemade. So
The mouth feel
it
gives
was
it away
wonderful.
immediately.
The what?
The mouth feel. It's
Yeah,
it always did with me anyways. I mean, I don't eat any of this stuff, but I make it still. But I used to always I could always tell what was real and what was artificial.
yeah. That's why I don't really like much of Walmart's bakery anymore. And Beth says I usually make my banana bread with coffee blended in it. Oh, ooh, Beth, I've never heard of that. And Tim says caramel praline is my signature. Okay, problem with baking, it's the eating. Yes. Oh, and Shelby says, I make Italian lemon cookies. They're so good. I make them for Christmas and everyone loves them. And oh boy, everyone's saying, oh, yum. I love the Cheesecake Factory. I've never been there, but I don't know. And Tim says, mine are better than the Cheesecake Factory. Okay, Tim.
I'm sure it is.
Let's see. I always share
I'm
mine
sure.
generously for exactly that reason. People think I'm selfless, but actually I'm vain. And Carolyn, I agree. I like anything made with love. Exactly.
Yep.
Because you can feel that energy when you do bake.
Yep.
Oh, and let's see. Eternal Light, how are you? Did I miss somebody? So is Eternal Light here? Well, I must have missed you when the chat jumped. So hello, Eternal Light. And let's see. And I think we're all caught up. So I really can't. Oh, there was something I kind of wanted. Well, this is a Friday night. We all talk and stuff and whatnot. We have things that come up, and I just wanted to talk about something that and I hope we have, because we have a lot of fellow readers in here as well. And I didn't get a chance to talk to Allyson about this backstage, so this is basically a Heather thing. I've just noticed within for quite some time now, and then just recently talking with some folks that when it comes to doing live readings, when people come and say, can I be added to the list? And sometimes we get a list of sometimes, 7, 8, or sometimes even like 10 or 13 people wanting readings. And for a lot of us, that's just too much, because that's a lot of energy that we're tapping into. And I know that there are some readers who try to make sure all, 10, 12, 13, or whatever, get readings. But I just, when it comes to that, if we can't get to everybody, it's not that we don't, and at least I'm saying for myself, it's not that I don't want to read for people. It's that it does take energy, tapping into another's energy, looking at the cards, connecting with them, reading them, connecting with people and their energy in chat, that it's really hard to do, for me at least, more than four or five, depending on how fast we go with them or what our energy is. Because sometimes, too, guests on our channels, they can only, spend a certain amount of time doing readings. And if they have a specific way of doing a reading, sometimes, another will say, well, then just pull one card or something. And for me personally, that is just not giving a person a proper reading. And we just hope, at least I just hope that, fellow chatters understand that it's not that, for me, it's not wanting to be able to read for everybody. It's just that it takes a lot of energy, a lot of time. And it's not that we don't want to read for you or that I don't want to read for you. And I think that's a topic of conversation, maybe some night on a show where we just kind of sit and address, when, how, readers can respect other readers' time and how they read, and their energy, and, being able to convey that to those in chat, especially if they're new to our channels or if they're not readers themselves, to understand that it's not that we don't want to read for people. It's just that it's very time consuming. It's very not just time consuming, but it's very energy. And when you tap into, energy like that, whether it's spirit or another person's energy, that can drain. And you don't want someone reading and not being properly having the right stamina, the right, um, being grounded enough, or, you get tired, and the last thing you want to do when you're reading for somebody is being so tired that you can't really focus, you can't even really talk and convey the message right. And to try to give a reading with just one card, at least for me and a lot of other readers, that's very hard to do. So that's just something I kind of felt like I wanted to address, because I've had this conversation with a couple of other people this week. And so when I limit and say questions are closed, when I see about five, especially like when Allison and I get together, because I know Allison and I pull extra cards, and we want to make sure that, the cards that we pull, people get their readings, but we can't do that if we have more than five people. So, again, not speaking for Allison, speaking for myself, that I just like to keep the amount of questions that we take to a minimum, so that I can respect my guests' energy, my own energy, and make sure that our fellow readers get the best reading possible from us. So, tarot reading etiquette. Yeah, basically. So that might be interesting to have maybe a conversation. We had one on tarot ethics that Ange hosted. So maybe that might be something in the future that maybe a group of us can sit down and have a conversation about. So that's just something I wanted to bring up. Miss Tarot D, not feeling well tonight, so I'm just lurking. Love and light, beautiful people. And Miss Tarot D, I don't know if
Oh,
you were
sorry,
here to
honey.
hear, but Scout's doing great. And so we know how much you love Scout. So just to let you know, he's doing much, much better.
Hope you feel
And
better, honey.
yeah, and Heather, don't you think most people understand that? Maybe I'm missing something. I'm not sure, but I was just having a conversation with, another reader, and we were discussing that, and we just, especially because we're getting a lot of new people popping in the chat. I've been seeing Nancy and I have been seeing some new people. Every now and then, Allison and I get some new people. When Ange and I read, we get new
I'll be right
people.
back.
So
I'll go grab some.
I've been seeing a lot of new people, and it's just something I kind of want to reiterate, that it's just, we all read differently, and we all have our boundaries, our energy boundaries, and, the ethics of too, and etiquette again of how we read. So, I just be seeing a little bit more of that. And Friday night, we're very laid back. I know everybody in chat is very cool about and respectful of our, comments and thoughts and opinions. And I feel very safe to be able to share this with everybody. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there. And Janet says, Miss Tarot D, I had an inkling to pray for you last night or early morning. I will continue. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. Um, so sometimes you have to just say no. It's your time and you do it because you like to do it. Exactly. Um, Sometimes I think I've been asking for too many readings. As always, my concern is I'm doing too much on you. But well, the only time I would, Shelby, this is not like to make anybody feel guilty at all for asking for readings. It's just it's something that I noticed here and there, and it was just something I want to address. But if some of us feel that someone's asking, the same question too often, not giving enough time in between readings to give the universe a chance to, present opportunities or for you to make opportunities or for things to change, then we might hold back and say, well, do you have a different question, or somebody who we might have not read for before, can go next. So um, that's what I've been, wanting to do lately, is just kind of like seeing who haven't we really read for in a while. Do we have anybody new in chat? So it's never anything personal. It's just sometimes some shows you get like 13 requests for a reading, and I've seen 13, I've seen 10. And there are a couple times where in the past I read one time with somebody for like 3.5 hours. And it was just like by the end, I could barely just, I could hardly even get the words out. I couldn't even talk clearly. I couldn't even talk straight. So um, I think it's just an important, conversation to have every now and then. And Beth says, absolutely. You do you and draw your boundaries accordingly. Exactly. So I'm just happy to see everybody in chat. Carolyn, it's so nice to see you. And Peter, we hope you're staying warm. And there's Eternal Light. Hello, Eternal Light. Like this person's new, so welcome. I've seen you a couple times, but we have new people coming in, and as our channels grow. And this show, Allison's I show on Fridays, and me and Nancy's are my most popular. Um, and so we really appreciate everybody's continued support every week for our shows. So let me just go ahead. Was there anything else you want to talk about, Allison, or you want to open up the floor for questions, or what you in the mood for?
I can't really think of anything
Okay, and Miss
that
Tarot
comes
D
to mind.
Miss Tarot D says, speaking from the I, if I ask for a general reading, then I won't ask again for the rest of the week or two. If it's for a specific question, then I'll ask again that week, but usually once a week is okay. Yeah, because if you ask too many times, then it's like you're not giving the universe, like you're not trusting or not giving the universe really a chance. And we had this discussion too with Ange on her panel. And one of the things that were brought up is, when people ask the same question but they jump from from show to show or different, is that okay? And for half of us, pretty much it was just like that's too much, while others say, well, perhaps they just want a different perspective because all of us readers are different. So again, it's up to each of us as a reader how we work, how we feel comfortable in what questions that that we're willing to read on again or willing to answer. um, and Isadora says, some people take advantage of the readers. Yes, there are some. Um, but most of everybody in my chats, y'all rock. You're the best. So Peter is so cute. He told me the girls are coming on. Aw, love to you and Peter, Carolyn. I love that. um, so Beth says, I'm in the Midwest and it's supposed to be in the high 40s and low 50s next week. Yay, long walks with a pup again. That's nice. And Miss Tarot D says, thank you for the prayers and blessings.
Actually, I do have a random comment.
Okay.
It's not really random. Uh, or it's not really a comment. It's more like a I don't even know if it's not a big deal. I don't even know why I'm saying this. I guess because you're talking about the weather. Yes, it's that uh I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be in Michigan.
Ooh.
Yeah. Anthony and I are wanting to split. We've been talking about it a lot, actually. He can't retire for a few more years. He really wants to retire like within the next 5 years. I just don't know if I can stay in Michigan that long. I mean, I will if I have to. And him and I, the plan is to be together and move forward together and all that. So, but it's just, I'm just this
I
whole
agree.
0 degrees, and I experience it, right? What I'm doing currently, as a job, career, whatever. It's just too cold. I just cannot. I'm just so over it.
I'm trying to convince Allyson, come to Oregon with us. I try to convince Nancy. I tell Tom, come to Oregon with
No,
us. Miss Terrell D, come to Oregon with us. And they're like,
no, that's not my
no.
jam. I mean, I like Oregon. I like Portland. I mean,
I
I
had to
spent
try.
some time there.
Hmm.
Anthony would, no, there's no way. And I want to be somewhere warm. We're gonna go south.
Yep, Tim said South
Um,
Carolina is a great
Probably
place for it.
Tennessee, maybe North Carolina, that kind of thing. I want to be on the mountain range.
I miss the
Um,
mountains. Yep.
so yeah. Um, I want backyard chickens, year round. Like for real. Like that's like a
Hmm.
not negotiable. I want chickens. So, yeah. Um,
Peter says she says Peter says he's watching and loves the both of you.
Aw,
Well, we
thank
hope you
you.
guys feel
We
better
love you
soon and
guys
you can
too. That's so
join
sweet.
us. We miss having you. So Tennessee. Ooh. Um, and let's see. Whoops. Miss Tara D says, Allyson, I know that you have a strong desire to move to the Bronx, but don't. Rents are going up here too. It's like we're trying to get everyone to come with me on the West Coast. Miss Tara D's like, no, come to the East Coast. Um,
Now
but
I'm done with
yeah.
the West Coast.
So best is prepare for major weather in Tennessee, the new hurricane and tornado paths in
I
the
know. I
southeast
I
United
watch the
States.
weather
Yeah.
very closely. Um, I've spent 15 years in California, Northern California, and we used to go to Portland fairly often because that's where my ex's brother lives, or lived. He's in Hawaii now. And I
Mm,
lived in Florida, and I've spent time in I guess where's Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. South
yeah.
Carolina. Many times, like 3 different times. Not that I ever lived there, but and I've been through Tennessee to Tennessee. It sounds so weird because Tennessee parts of it are just so um, and there's no, I mean, this would be retirement,
Yeah.
like, and it's set, right? He's got it together. So it's not like we got to go there and work. That's
Yep.
not what I'm talking about. So, yeah, but yeah, I know.
Where do you think you
Um,
might want to be?
in it's not narrowed down. We've looked at a lot. We're browsing right now. We've looked in a lot of different areas, but we're having a lot of fun looking around online and
When the
Zillowing
right
and
one will pop up, you'll know it too. You'll probably feel
and
that.
yeah.
Oh. Nancy says where I live is beautiful west of Asheville. So she's near the
Yeah,
Appalachian Mountains. Yep.
yeah, yep,
North Carolina.
yep, yep. And that area is gorgeous.
Oh, and Tim and Karen live in the same city. He would like to meet her and her family. Well, that would be fun during the summer. Maybe have a picnic or something. Get together. Let's see.
It's
And Tim,
In fact, his brother, and now I can't remember what city they're in. His brother has moved. Oh my God, his brother has property in Mississippi, Tennessee, and South Carolina, and then he had some in North Carolina as well. Um, I couldn't even talk about cities because I don't even know.
yes, Tim. I've been in Santa Fe once a long time ago. Santa Fe is gorgeous. Yeah, it's Georgia O'Keeffe country up there with the mountains and everything. That was New Mexico was another state Shannon and I were looking at initially before we decided just to settle on Oregon. But yeah, New Mexico has some very beautiful places.
And I like the West. It's just with all the fires and everything else. And I do like Oregon. It's too cloudy and rainy there. I get depressed. I can't be in
Mhm.
cloud and rain all the time. It is actually it's how are you with that, Heather? I hadn't thought about that.
Well, we're in Southern Oregon, so they get a lot of sunshine down there. It's not like Portland is when you start going into like the Seattle and the
Hmm.
Washington where it gets a lot of cloud and rain. But no, down in a lot of people like that area because, and it's in quotation, like Grants Pass area, it's the climate. People like it that it's, very little snow. It's warm most of the winter, and you get rain, but you have a lot of sunshine, during the year, and I don't. I
Good.
mean, I don't suffer during the winter. For me, hot lawn summers is what makes me ill. I'm one of those reverse people. I don't get that seasonal depression during the winter. Um, for me, it's
Also
I
known
get
as low vitamin D. That's what that
for
is.
me is it's the summer where I get really sick. If there's too much heat, it's too much humidity. I
Hmm.
just
Well,
it,
lots of
it it's
things can
hard
be.
for
Yeah,
me.
I don't like the heat either. Like super hot. That's why I'm saying I really want to be in the mountains. And we go south, but I want to be in the mountains because it's just not as hot.
And best says Allison, underrated state in my opinion is Delaware. The ocean and pretty wait a minute is
The
underrated.
ocean
Oh,
and pretty
sorry.
inexpensive.
So low
Low,
low
low
taxes
taxes, no
and
sales tax.
and
Delaware.
I know Carolyn said come to Virginia. Her and Peter are. I heard Virginia is a very beautiful state.
I've been to Virginia. I had a boyfriend when I was like 21, 22, and his father had relocated out there and we drove out there that's when I lived in Michigan the first time. And we drove out there. Virginia, it was very pretty. I couldn't tell you what part we were in. I don't remember, but it was nice.
Years ago, I thought about going to the West Coast to an art school, but that didn't happen. Oh, there's always time. Ms. Taro D says, so many friends have moved to Delaware. The houses there are inexpensive and you get so much. Interesting.
I don't know about
Um,
anything being inexpensive anymore. Everything's expensive
Virginia
now.
is way too humid
I'll
for
look them
me.
as tarot D. There's certain areas that I mean, because it's me, it's gonna be me and somebody else, right? So it has to
Mhm.
be the one thing we agreed on is we got to be on the same page on everything, all the decisions. So yeah, I mean, I think we've pretty much decided about south. Again, I want it to be warm. I am so and Anthony's lived here his entire life. I've been all over the place. He was
Mhm.
born and raised here, has never left.
Wow.
Yep. Like the same county even. Actually, I shouldn't say that. No, he was not born here, but he got here when he wasn't even one. So,
And let's see, Shelby says, Allison, have you
yeah.
done a reading as to where you might
No,
want to
I
live?
don't read on
Either way.
myself. I could get a reading done though. Um,
Michelle, Astrological Tarot, her and Jonathan just left the States and moved to Mexico. They got out of the US. She does the astro mapping for people energetically, what's best for them. And I wasn't surprised when she did one for me that it said Oregon would be a good state for me energetic wise. So that was a plus to hear. But yeah, she's really good at doing that.
we will check out Tennessee this summer. Um, and or I don't know, we're gonna do some sort of a little road trip.
Let's
Um,
go to PV, Mexico. What's PV? Oh, Puerto Vallarta. Oh, I can never say it right. Puerto
Vallarta.
Vallarta, Mexico, with the Bookers. Oh, really? Carolyn Peter, did you know that? Hey, my friend Amanda's here. Hey, girl. I'm looking. She's looking to relocate too. I've been trying to get her to
Yep.
come with Shannon and I too. She's in
We
Buffalo. Yeah,
I want to go soon though. I'm not trying to wait as long as I know that we're gonna end up having to wait, but I'm
yeah.
over it. It's just too cold. I just don't.
And Shelby says, I got a reading from Michelle about the time I went to the Mount, which was amazing. Very cool. So you go where you're drawn to. I mean, I still miss Flagstaff. I kind of wish that we could maybe go back there, but Shan's like, you've been there already. There's memories. We know what that was like coming back here and coming back for the memories. Let's just do a fresh start. And I figure he's right, you know. And now that I'd be on the West Coast, all I would have to do is maybe take an Amtrak. It goes right down into Flagstaff, and I can visit, you know, my family and my friends that are still there, you know, from time to time. So I figure, hey, you know, I can do that too, and then visit Sedona because I miss Sedona. So, um, but yeah. Oh, 2 months to go. You know, time's ticking. So,
You
but
guys are
I'm
going in
excited.
March?
Huh?
You guys are going in March?
The end of March, we're leaving. Yeah,
Oh, the end of
because
March.
yeah, because our lease is over, is up in April, the first or second week of April. He's got to talk to the property manager when he pays his rent in March to say, listen, we're going. You know, what do you need from us? You know, we're not going to be here for April. Do we have to pay? You know, so he's going to find out about that. But no, we're leaving at the end because that's when our lease renews. And if we try to go month to month for a couple extra months, they want to charge an extra $200, which would put our rent over $1,000 in a in a subsidized housing unit. It's ridiculous. It was around mid-April, yeah, but I don't know. I want to be out of here, you know, by April 1st. He thinks we might have to pay half a month's rent. I don't know, but I'll let him figure all that out. That's his job, not mine. What, you want to say hello to everybody? All righty. Usually he meows when he wants to say hello. So, all righty. Here we go. Say hi, Auntie Amanda and Allison. Make sure we got no snot on our noses. There we go. There we go. Yeah,
So
your boy.
cute.
Say hi,
Cute
everybody.
isn't the right word. He's so pretty.
I joked and I told Shan today, I go, I should start a channel for him where he just sits on my lap and he looks at the camera and people come and say hi to him.
There's still, as I'm sure you all know, there's so many channels of people that just have channels of their pets and they get so many
Yep.
views.
Yep.
It's
All righty.
hilarious. Scout
Time
could
to
have his
go.
own channel.
He could, him and Lulu.
The dance that he does in the morning, you guys, before he eats, he spins around in
Like a
circles,
palm,
which he couldn't do when he was having the see, I already forgot the name of it. That
like the
what is it
vertigo,
called? No, it's called vestibular disease.
vestibular. Yeah.
Or vestibular syndrome. Do any of you have dogs or cats, dogs especially, that scratch their bed trying to fluff it, but the bed is not going to fluff because there's nothing to fluff?
My Lulu
He's
did that
he's doing that
sometimes.
right now. Lulu will sit on her bed and fluff and fluff and turn and fluff and turn and turn and fluff and fluff and fluff and then finally lay down. It doesn't look any
Oh,
different.
so Miss Terrell D says, "Oh, so happy that Scout's better. Thanks for the updates."
You are very
He goes,
welcome. And
and
I
he says
am
both your
thrilled.
babies do that.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
hilarious.
Yep.
Like it makes sense because like Lulu has like little fleece blankets, like the size of like a receiving blanket, right? Um and like I'll just get like fleece at Joann's and I'll just do like a blanket stitch around the edge of it and that there it is, right? It's like, you know.
Shelby
And
calls it
she'll fluff those
biscuits.
up. That makes sense. But there'll be nothing in her. Yes, they make biscuits. So cute. Um and it doesn't I just don't I don't know. I don't understand it. So yeah. Yeah. Usually it's her, but he does it sometimes too, and he was just doing it, which is what made me think about it.
Yeah, when I worked at Crystal Magic, one of my coworkers, she had two palms, and they would come in, they would do like the little spinning. If they wanted a treat, they would do the little spinning dance for us. It was just so cute. So
You
yeah, I
know
could see
what?
Scout doing that.
Is that a Pomeranian thing?
Um, I know that palms do that, but I didn't know if that was just a palm thing.
So, well, I see. So Scout, we don't know. he looks very much like American Eskimo, but he's mixed with something. And I've always kind of sort of thought maybe Palm, which would explain the size, because Scout's only like 14 and a half pounds. He's not big.
Mm-mm.
Um, and just the I don't know, you can't really see his full body, or it just he could be. And just some of his manner, when you read about American Eskimo, it sounds so much like him as well. But he's definitely mixed with something. And we don't know
Mm-hmm.
what. And I've had over the years many people comment that, oh yeah, maybe Pomeranian. And I'm like, yeah, maybe, but who knows? I don't know. You
And
see
this
people get those DNAs done, and there could be like three, four things going on that you wouldn't even have. And I know
thought of.
breeds. I'm a total dork when it comes to breeds. I know yeah, like if you see a purebred dog, I almost always know what it is. But other than the European ones, there's a bunch of different ones. And my
I'm just
dog
curious.
collects socks that we spread around the house. He puts them in his bed and then digs through the hide. That's so cute.
Yeah.
My son's best friend, um, their their dog, is it a boy or a girl? I think it's a boy. He takes socks, like takes, like if you, and he wants a sock that you've worn, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's just got this thing about socks, and he puts them in his bed and takes them, and it's so funny. He's eaten more than one. He's had vet
Ooh.
visits to get the sock out of him. Not good.
Yeah,
You
we
don't
used to
want to
get
swallow a
socks.
sock.
No, we used to get socks that were ripped up and tie them into a knot. And Leela
Right.
used to love playing with those. She'd be like,
Yeah.
she'd float them around, or that she would
Yeah.
tug with Piper
Yeah.
on. She
He
uncovered her little
swallowed a couple
nubbies.
small athletic socks. I know that much, which is a lot easier to swallow. And he's like a medium-ish sized dog, lot way bigger than Scout, but not. Of course, sizing on dogs is so weird. I don't know if any of you have sweaters for your dog. So like Lulu weighs 10 pounds, right? Nine to 10 pounds, right? Depending time of the year, whatever. But it's a whole pound fluctuation. It doesn't sound like much, but when you're this big, it's quite a bit. Anyway, she's a small, uh Scout's a medium, and he weighs 14 pounds. I just think that that's hilarious. So like extra small is probably like Ms. Taro D's dogs, like true Chihuahua size. And then you've got and like Yorkie size, like that. And then you've got like puppies, I guess, or I don't know what's smaller than that. I mean, unless you've got one of those teacup Chihuahuas or whatever, tiny, 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 tiny. But it's just funny to me. Like Scout is so little, you wouldn't think. I don't know, but they really stop. I mean, you can get bigger dog jackets, but like generally speaking, then they start jumping dramatically to a large and extra large and then double
Mhm.
extra. Like most people, real big dogs, they don't get jackets because they don't really need them unless you've got like a greyhound or whatever. I don't know how their sizing is.
Karen said, I just have to say I'm so proud of my son. He called my hubs when I was laying on the floor today. She had her blood pressure went up. I don't know if it was the dehydration or what that spiked my blood pressure and I got dizzy, but so thankful for him. Oh wow. He was smart. He thought fast and he got your mama's help. So take care of yourself, Karen. I know you got a lot on your hands right now with the twins and him. They came down sick, so just try to take it easy, my dear. My goodness. Yeah, that's yeah. I'd be proud of him too, sweetheart. Um, and Shelby said, I heard a story where a dog ate a lady's underwear. When they got it out, they tell the couple and show the underwear, and the lady goes, "That's not my underwear." That's
Mm,
interesting. Yeah. But Karen, please feel better, my dear. Really, honey. Yes, he's so caring. I'm doing some. Yep, you are doing something right. You're a good mama, sweetheart. Um, you know, please just take it easy, sweetheart. I know a lot of people are stressing right now with everything going on in the country and in our personal lives, and then dealing with the weather and you know and everything. So Just make sure you take good care of yourself, Karen. What you thinking?
No, I'll
Allison's
pass.
thinking diet. Usually when we talk about health
No,
and wellness, we're thinking about
I would
maybe.
love. I hear what you're saying, but it's like that doesn't make your blood. I mean, it can affect your blood pressure. Your blood pressure is already sideways if those things are going to upset your blood pressure further. What you just said, I'm saying.
Mm,
Like you're upset about the election or whatever. That's
maybe
not
not
gonna,
version. Yeah.
you know what
Well,
I'm
I'm just saying
saying?
a lot of stress and
Or
stuff.
what? Yes, but blood pressure is affected. It's usually dietary. It is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
Karen says it's the flu. She's got the flu. So just make sure that,
Right.
you're
So
doing
you
what you
got the
need.
flu and you're saying that's making your blood pressure worse than what it typically is.
What she's saying. She thinks, yeah. But, she's on the go too. She's got two twins. She's got a boy, so it's hard for her to, take it slow and take it easy even when she's sick. 'Cause she's got her hands full. Um, her blood pressure is normal mostly. Okay. So we're at 8:52. Would anybody like? Wait a minute. I have the meter from pregnancy. What do you mean by that?
She's got a way to check her blood pressure. She has a blood
Oh,
pressure
I have the
cuff.
meter for. Oh, okay. That's what she means. Okay. I didn't know what the meter what she meant by that. So, if anybody would like um any cards pulled, if you have a question, go ahead, let us know. If not, Allison and I can always maybe just keep chatting or maybe pull cards for the collective. Past pregnancy from it, yeah. I gotcha. I understand now.
Oh, I
So,
was going to say something.
okay.
It's kind of a woo thing, not really.
A woo thing, but not really.
Yeah, kind of. And it's funny. I don't know. Well, Carolyn's here, but I don't know if she can chime in on this or not. But I've mentioned this a little bit. So um, I should have Anthony on sometime just to do a little cameo, just so you guys can see who the hell I'm talking about all the time.
Now my Shan comes on every now and then, so
So,
we're like,
so
do
Anthony
it.
is a he would totally roll his eyes to hear me say this. Anthony's a medium. He just is a natural medium. Doesn't know anything about it, doesn't know how it happens, doesn't quite understand it, da 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 da, but he has things come through and he just gets stuff. And he's a little suspicious, not suspicious of it, that's the wrong word. He doesn't really know how to interpret what things are a lot of the time. But I also know that he can communicate with his guides really well. We had an interesting exchange last Sunday morning. We were laying in bed together, just laying there lazily. You know, you just lay in bed and just talk. And we were just laying there in bed. And was that in the morning? Yeah, it was in the morning because sometimes we'll lay down and nap in the afternoon. It was in the morning. And he had a really interesting so he'll like go into these meditative states sometimes. This has only happened a couple times that I've been with him, but then it happened on Sunday. And then I don't think he'd mind me talking about this. I'll tell him later that I mentioned it on my live. And he anyways, my mom has come through to him several times now. And he was very hesitant at first to even talk to me about it because he thought he sounded like a nut and he also wasn't sure. And then, but he did get some things that I hadn't told him he didn't know, about my mom. And I was like, yeah, that's my mom. And the funny thing is my mom would have absolutely loved him. And my mom was a pretty tough audience, to be perfectly honest. She just was. And but they've got some things in common. Also, my mom went by Tony, And Anthony does not go by Tony, but everybody always tries to call him Tony, like where he works,
Mm.
and it's kind of like this ongoing, like inside joke. Because a lot of people call him Tony, and a couple years ago he just gave up and he just doesn't even say anything anymore. And he's not Tony, he's Anthony.
Mhm.
And he hates it. He doesn't like it at all. And so that's kind of like a funny parallel. I'm just mentioning that. Like there's actually several different things with them. And we went and visited at my mom's grave a year ago. I guess like, yeah, late October. And it was the first time he told me that he loved me. And he gave me a little, actually, I wear a little like promise ring. And my
Oh,
mom came through when we were there. And I think she does love him if she's
if
coming
she
through.
comes through the
Yeah. And I
yeah.
think she absolutely does. And anyways, he came over the other day that I did the pie for him Wednesday to pick it up after work. And which he rarely comes over here after work. For one, Anthony's very regimented. He does everything very much the same. He's very much a like a scheduler and a planner with everything. Anyways, he came by because I'd said, remember there's no part of the reason he wouldn't normally, and I'm fine with it, is because there's a lot of traffic at that time of day. There just is. There's a ton of traffic the way he comes and where he's going. But I was home because there wasn't any school, and because there's no school, there's not as much traffic. So he's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because he was gonna get it the next day. I'm like, you need to come and get this pie. It's fresh, and he didn't want me going out because the weather was bad. Blah blah blah. Anyways, he came by. My mom came through. And he hasn't had anything. Well, he had the whole thing in bed on Sunday, but that was more like with his guides. But he hasn't had any like, well, no, he did have something with my mom not too long ago, but it had been a while. So I guess actually, yes, there's been several things recently. But anyways, my mom came through and it was just kind of funny because uh he didn't say anything when he was here because he was super tired. He was still cold to the bone. He'd been in and outside all day long at work, and he was just like frozen. And he told me once he got home because he didn't want to get all. He just didn't. He was so came in and sat down. Anthony doesn't sit down. He came and he actually sat down. And Scout, of course, was blah, 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 bounced around going bonkers because he loves Anthony, and he's feeling better. And he was super excited because he'd seen him at the vet the day before too. So yeah, Scout's all excited to see him 2 days in a row. And because I'll go over there during the week typically if I'm going to see him. Um, but anyways, what was I going to say? Oh, the pie pan that I've been using was my mom's. It's so, yeah. And I have certain things that I use and do that were my mom's. And most of these things are just simple things. They're not like valuable or anything like that. They're just things that I really was like, I want that, I want that. And I was very selective with what I took. I didn't want a bunch of stuff. And but that was one of the things. And I have these two rings that I always have on that I don't take off. These were both my mom's and my earrings. And uh but anyways, yeah, so that was funny because I was using her pan and I had just thought about my mom. And it's not like I don't think about her, but I don't think about her every day. My mom's been gone for 6 years. I mean, I do think about her and I love her, and but it's not like it was just funny because I had just been thinking about her, I don't know, within an hour or so before Anthony came over. And that's probably why. Like sometimes if it's certain thing, it makes sense. Or once in a while, not nearly as much now that she's gone. I'd smell like I just get like something and then it's her and then it's gone. That's all it is. But then I'll think of her somewhere out of the blue, and I think in Carolyn, if she's around, she probably confirm this. And then I'm like, oh, that was probably her. Like I don't know if they plant the thought or what it is. But the pie pan, every time I grab it, I think of my mom. That pie pan I actually bought for her. And then I ended up getting it back when she died, right? Because when I saw it in her kitchen, when I went through her stuff, I was like, oh, I want the pie pan because I bought
There's
that for
Carolyn
her.
right there. She is
Which,
thrilled that you found each other. She's communicating with him because she knows you the best, and she will say that would be good for her, or don't do that because she will get mad.
all right, hold on a second. She is
Yeah.
thrilled that you found each other. She is communicating with him because she knows you the best. And she will say that would be good for her, or don't do that because she will get mad. Oh, meaning that I would get mad about something? I don't really get upset with him ever. Anthony's just, if I'm understanding the last part of what you said,
Yeah,
um,
Joe.
uh, Anthony, he's not that he's perfect, he's not, but he's just so kind and thoughtful and almost I actually had to clean it up a little bit, not surprising, because he's so because I can be really direct obviously and flat and kind of monotone sometimes and whatever, especially through
Mm-hmm.
text, and I had to really start using emojis and
And
stuff
readings.
because he's super he he's so pissed to hear me say this, but he's sensitive, or
Mm-hmm.
he'll be like, or like, what do you mean, or whatever, and I'm like, no, da, 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 da. So and now he knows me. I mean, we've been together, what, it's been a year and a half now, so it's like he knows
That
now. It's like,
long
oh,
already.
she means,
Wow.
yeah, yep. And actually it'll be Monday. Yeah, it's a year and a half. um so yeah, but anyways, no, I know she would just adore him. Anyways, my whole long-winded point is my mom comes through to him, and it's kind of funny because I think she probably comes through to me, but I don't pick up on it as much, which is a bummer. I get other things, but I don't pick up on it as much, or I'm not as aware of it or whatever. But because he's so sensitive. And Anthony picks up stuff all the time, like lots of stuff. Part of the reason he's so good at his job, and I had to explain this to him when we first got together because he didn't even, it's so funny. He had no idea. I told him, I said, you're reading people all the time. Like I read people. And probably a lot of you guys do as well. Some of you might not even know you do it. She knows what a loving heart he has. She celebrates both of you together. Thank you. Yeah, I agree. Yep. Yep.
Oops.
She was afraid I was going to be alone too because I had just kind of wrote everything off, and she like
Yeah.
every time you guys, I'm going to kick out of this. Every time my mom would see me, she'd say, not every time, but like she a lot of the times that she would see me, because I don't wear makeup or do anything, and whatever, she'd be like, why don't you put on a little lipstick? So
Yeah.
funny. Which you probably like, or you guys probably like, what? It's like, yeah, because my mom, um, I don't know. She just, not that I needed to do that, but that's just her, like, wanting me to, you know, get out there, and meet
Mm-hmm.
somebody. Like, I need to put on lipstick. It's just so
But
silly.
that day you told me that you ran into him again that got his attention. You did have a
I
dress
did. I
on. You said you
actually
did
took an
have some
effort. I didn't
lipstick
have any
on.
makeup on, but like I had
Oh, you did?
actually, like
Oh.
I did, like I had I think I had straightened my hair the day
Aw.
before or something like that. Oh, thank you, honey. And I actually had on a sundress and probably actually put like some lotion on my legs, and like
Oh
the,
gosh,
the
honey.
extent of effort that I do, right? And but actually that's interesting. Yeah, good point. But anyhow, yeah, she it's so funny. It's like, and I'm not, I mean, I get medium type moments or stuff like most of us do. Like, I just know, like, I just knew. And there was a couple times I want to say, I can't even remember when it was. I want to say it was when I was waking up one day, but that's not right. I don't remember, but I just knew it was like, oh yeah, mom really likes Anthony. Like it was just like it was palpable. And he is a service manager for an auto garage that's been around forever in this area. It's
Forever.
like a landmark in this county.
Is he a
Did you say
Cancer?
he is a Cancer? He is a Cancer Venus. Enough said. Venus and Cancer. Yeah.
No.
And he's okay. That's Karen, right? That's
Yes.
Karen, right?
Yeah. The
Leo
lips.
Sun, Virgo Moon, Venus in Cancer, Scorpio rising.
Kim says, I'm more attracted to the more natural looking ladies.
Yeah, I've never been in makeup and
And Miss Tarot D
whatever.
says, I'm like Allyson. I hardly wear any makeup, just a little lipstick. But we've been having some other comments too, especially from Miss Tarot D. Um, she said suggested maybe you can get him to do some readings on a live Friday.
I know. It's so funny
That would
because
be fun.
oh, I started to say something, then I stopped. What I was telling him is part of the reason, because he's really good at his job, is that
He
he's a
is. He
cutie
is.
pie.
I've seen him.
Is that he
I got to meet him.
he will meet somebody, and he was explaining to me how this works, and then I ended up telling him, I said, well, you're reading people. And he's like, what do you mean? Like he didn't know what I meant. And then I explained it, and I'm like, you meet somebody, and I do this too, and probably a lot of us do. But I think he does it even more, and it's so organic, and he doesn't even know that he's doing it. He meets somebody, and probably most people to some degree do this. He will, he's reading their energy, basically, is what he's doing. He immediately knows how to talk to them, how to approach what it is that he needs to tell them, because it's a very sensitive. So like if you bring in your car and they run the diagnostic and they decide whatever is going on or whatever, you're going to speak with him, whether it's in person or on the phone, and he's going to tell you what was found, what it's going to cost, how long they're going to have it. These are your options. No, 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 no. And a lot of people, and again, this place has been there forever. It's got an amazing reputation. It's not cheap, right? It's right in, the most expensive part of town and all of that, but they guarantee all their work. And it's very honest. And they've been there again forever, and they have an amazing reputation because of all this, right? Which is huge in that kind of,
Mm-hmm.
business. So what was my point? Oh, so it has to be, a lot of people have to be handled with kid gloves, right? Because people are, especially if they're new and they've never been there, whatever, people are very, they're just, auto repair is expensive. It just is. And so you have people that, it's just it takes a special kind of person to be able to deal with all that. And his job is very, very, very stressful, and he's really over it. He's ready, he's ready to retire.
Mm-hmm.
He just can't retire yet, so he's going to probably be there another several years, but he really, you know yeah, but
So
he's very
Karen,
good at what he does, but it's very stressful, and he's been doing it a very, 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 very long time. He's going on 30 years. It's been there. He's been
wow.
doing that a long time. Same place, same business,
And
same
Karen
spot.
said, y'all are both Virgo moons.
Yeah, we
And
are.
he's a Scorpio rising. So, yeah, she said he's psychic.
Yeah,
And she
he
says
is.
it's hard to fool a Scorpio.
Yep, absolutely. And that helps him in his line of work as well. And he knows when he's being bullshitted. He knows when he's being lied to. He knows when somebody's trying to manipulate, like with pricing or what this, that, da, 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 da. And he doesn't go for it. Just
And when it
doesn't.
comes to psychic abilities, Karen, I know Karen put the wrong name in there. She changed it, but she says there's a book called Psychic Symbols and Signs for People Developing Their Psychic Abilities. She says she recommends that book. It's not, she says it's Melanie, but Karen, you said you spelled her last name wrong. It's not Beckler, but I can't remember which one you said it is. But um, she recommends that book. So if you just look up the title, you'll be able to find it. Oh, Barnum. Okay, gotcha. It's
Arnhem.
Melanie Barnum. And so we're talking about makeup now because Karen says I only wear mineral powder when, foundation when I do. And then, of course, Miss Tarot D, we should chat. I put on a facial moisturizer first, let that dry, then a primary really helps.
Primer.
If you do this, you can use a very, very light foundation, little amount, not color. So trust me, this makes a really big difference. So yeah, Karen says that book is like $18 on Amazon. And Tim says, as an Aries too, Allyson, I have to rein back on my approach and communication. Yeah.
The funny thing is, who sent that?
That was Tim.
Tim. So I think honestly, a lot of what comes through my whole whatever that is my Gemini rising. I am an Aries. Um, but I'm like barely an Aries. Like I'm if I'd been born like 6 hours earlier, I'd have been a Pisces. I mean, I'm that cuspy. Like it's like it's right there. And while I do think, yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of, I am how I am. And a lot of people do think it's the Aries, and it could be. I really just don't think it is. I think it's more about my whole Gemini rising that comes through.
Allyson, pull a card right now. There is a message for you, Carolyn says.
Oh, okay.
So while Allyson's doing that, Amanda, if you're still there, because I didn't see you respond in chat, she would ask for a reading, but she didn't specify anything. So Amanda, if you're still in chat, be specific on what question you want, and put that in the chat. So
I just pulled the Page of Cups, Carolyn, which
ooh.
can be a love offer. Um, it can also be an apology, but I'm not expecting an apology. And I'm thinking about Anthony right now. So I'm thinking, yeah.
Let's see. Allyson, Audra says, Allyson, my mom is 32147.
Aw, that's awesome. I'm
And
32170.
And my Shan is 313. So, oh, well, maybe that card's not for you. Never mind. I was going to pull a card for you, but I'm looking at going, no, we'll keep with her.
No, she said for me to pull a card for me, and I did.
Going, nope, that's not. No. So, let's see. My Mars in Aries. 8 hours later for me, I would be a Taurus. Yeah. I'm 1972, Audra. So we're about the same age. He offers you his love every day. Aww.
He does. He absolutely does. He does.
How sweet.
It's funny, Carolyn. I realize now, with the exception of my husband, that's the father of my child, this is the only man that I've ever been with that really truly loved me.
And hello, Candace.
Like,
you just popped in.
Truly.
What I'm 7. I don't know what you're. So I don't know if you're just sharing. There's no question there. So I don't know. But yeah. Welcome, Candace. 713. That would be a Cancer, right? No. Yeah, that would be a Cancer, I think. And Miss Carol D and Judith and Shelby are still sharing makeup and drag queen tips and let's see. Shelby's a 19,000.
Okay?
Oh, which one? My Lulu?
Oh yeah, her pajama bottom her back feet came out. She was trying to hop up on the
Oh,
chair.
she's wearing a pajamas. Oh
She's
my
got on her fleece
God.
onesies,
Oh my God.
but
See
she's
now,
okay. She got
now
it.
when I go out, Lila would wear her little coat, which I still have. But the minute we got in, she was like, "Okay, get me out of this," and then she would just, climb right under the blanket and just stay that way.
I usually undress her. I mean, she usually. I mean, I always put clothes on her to go outside once it's like, I don't know, late October, November through to March because Michigan. But it's so cold this week that I've just put her fleece onesie on her and I've just left it on her. And then her coats go on top of it.
I think
This
Carolyn would
is a two.
the end love.
Yeah, I think so too. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love those happy ending stories.
Well, I'm not going to even say it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful. So, well, my friend Amanda must have left. I have to talk to that girl. If you're going to ask for a reading, stay and chat, and then post your question, girl. But
Thank you,
so
Carolyn.
so yes, thank you, Carolyn, for and we're at
I'm
9:17. So we're
tempted to
going.
ask something, but I'm not going to ask it. I think I already know.
Yeah. So did you want to just do a collective for everybody before we end?
We can, sure.
Because that'll
What time
probably
is it?
take us to 9:30, and then the show would be about an hour and a half.
Okay, that's fine.
And is that okay with you?
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, "Do me." Well, Candace, we have time for a collective, but catch us at one of our next lives, and we'll be happy to do a reading for you.
To read for everybody.
Now, if so Candace, what we're going to do now is what's called a collective reading. So this is for everybody. So it's just kind of tapping into the energy of what's going on now. Maybe just do a collective going into the weekend and seeing, what messages, and everyone can take, whatever, the information we get from the cards and see how it plays out for each of us over the weekend. And Carolyn says, "You're welcome. It was a pleasure to speak with your mother."
Thank you, Caroline. I miss her. Not day in and day out, but like when I think about her or check in with her at my altar, and I don't know if I'm picking up on her energy or what, but really mostly there's times I want to call her and I can't. And it's like, because we would talk for hours when I would talk to her. Like we would just, and I miss that. So yeah. Thank you.
Alrighty, so I am going to go. So the top card, I'm using my Hush Tarot, and I pulled the Page of Swords, the Harpy. And I love sharing what the authors write about the cards. And of course, the Page of Swords are all about curiosity. They're the communication. They're the thinkers. They have these thoughts. They want to prove themselves. They want to, communicate their ideas. And here it says the harpy is a fierce spirit. She represents your strength of will with her great wings and terrible claws. The decorated skull symbolizes the remains of your past ventures as you ready yourself for the new path ahead. So this is perfect going into the weekend, leaving the week behind. Coming into the weekend, we got the Eight of Pentacles. And of course, the Eight of Pentacles is all about hard work, kind of like putting the nose to the grind. But I think this weekend, any weekend projects coming up, staying focused, enjoying the time this weekend to kind of take, when we focus on a project, especially if it's creative or something, it helps us to kind of get grounded. Pentacles are also about security, stability, the earth. So getting grounded, getting focused, working on a project by getting grounded, it helps us, kind of relax, helps us, you know, process the week, helps us, I keep saying grounded, but grounding is so important, especially because it helps your like with Karen, your blood pressure, helps lower stress. And of course, I am not a doctor, YouTube. This is for entertainment purposes only, but this is just, it's proven scientifically that, when we do something creative, when we get grounded and we do enjoy what we're doing, it does help lower our stress levels, our blood pressure, and, helps bring enjoyment. And the other card that I have is the Fool. So going into the weekend too, whatever this project is, getting grounded and um, getting focused and working on something that you've been really wanting to work on for a while. And the Fool is that spontaneity. Maybe this was something that you didn't think of, or there the to think of ahead of time. You might be started working on something, and then you get this hit of oh, let's try this. And the Fool is about having faith too. Is that taking that leap? So whatever this project is, maybe trying something new, take that leap. And the overall energy from this week too, yeah, the Nine of Wands. It's been a long week, a lot going on with us, country wise, home wise, health wise. So, but the Wands shows us that we're resilient, we're strong. We might feel tired, we might feel kind of, battled out from the past week, but overall, just kind of getting in, being home, working on your projects, maybe getting out into nature, getting grounded, and trying something fun, something new, being spontaneous and enjoying this time this weekend. And that's what I have. Misty Allison.
I do. So for whoever of you that I did ask for a collective reading, but I don't think this is necessarily going to apply to everybody. There's something that you either have kept to yourself or have just know on some level intuitively that if you were to invest in this thing, and for some of you, this is going to be a financial situation, it will bring you the happiness that you would benefit from having, or that for some of you, maybe the happiness you've always wanted, or it would be your joy or whatever. High Priestess, Seven of Pentacles, the Sun. Yeah. And at the bottom of the deck, I have the Queen of Pentacles. That for some of you, this would be business related. But this can also be in the home, Queen of Pentacles, take it how it applies. And then I cut the deck and I got the Ten of Pentacles. So yeah, this absolutely could be financial. Doesn't have to be. I personally read the Ten of Pentacles is just whatever your happy ending looks like to you, whatever that would be. Yes, it includes money, but it's not about the money. I mean, the money is part of it. And then look at this. I'm looking right here now at the bottom of the deck. It's the Four of Wands, which is a celebration card, and the
Right.
home and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and I of these three cards, I got two major arcana. We've got the High Priestess and the Sun here. So yeah, so that was my collective message.
Very nice. And Carolyn said, Allyson, your mom said to do some automatic writing.
Okay, I'll try. Thank
So that's
you.
her recommendation.
Thank you. I would love to. I'll get with my sister on that because my sister's done it. I'm sure I know some people that have done it, and I could talk to them about how
I
to
have.
get into that. Yeah, I'll and I could talk to Heather too. Okay. I guess that means she's gonna come through. So, okay. I mean, I'm not saying that you're saying that, but I'm assuming that's what that means, because why else would
Mm-hmm.
she say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, really quick detour here, and I'm sure this is not necessarily unusual, but do I have 2 seconds, Heather? I'll tell
Yeah,
the
go
quick
ahead, honey.
version. Okay.
Yeah.
So and I don't think I've told this before, but I think I
She said
told it
yes.
somewhere.
It's
So
for you and mom. Mm-hmm.
thank you, honey. Thank you so much, and I will. Um, so my sister, actually, I told this, and I think it was on this show too. I'll be brief. My sister, who who is a medium and has gifts and is gifted, but she doesn't really use any of it, was one of the very few times she was kind of tipping her toe into the water of all this kind of stuff. She doesn't really deal with all of it because it kind of freaks her out, and I mean she knows it's okay, but she gets kind of creeped out. She doesn't want to feel anybody around her. She doesn't want anybody touching her. She doesn't want to see anything with her eyes. She's okay with like sensing, or kind of like hearing. Did she say, I think she said hearing is okay, or just knowing or whatever. But anyways, she was at some sort of a gathering with some sort of psychic woman, and she was having this meeting at her house, and they were all there, and the woman was there teaching them whatever the hell she was teaching them, and then they were going to do some automatic writing later. And the woman's trying to conduct or hold this class in her living room, right? And or wherever they were all sitting. I think they were like in a living room setting, and she's trying to say whatever she was her presentation or whatever, the first part of it. And she just stops, and she looks at my sister, and she says to everybody, she says, actually I know it was on the show, and she says I'm sorry. She goes, Lisa, your grandmother's here. And she just won't stop. And she goes, I have to give you a message. She goes, I keep telling her to wait, but she just won't stop. So she has, I don't remember what it was, but she had a message for my sister from my grandmother, who was coming through insistently. She knew she could connect with this woman to talk to my sister. Now, my sister's a medium too, but she's not like an amazing medium like this woman. And so she delivered whatever the message was, and then my grandma was able to pipe down a little bit and just go take a seat so this woman could complete her presentation or whatever. And then they all did automatic writing. And then my grandmother, the one that I'm talking about, came through to my sister doing the automatic writing. And my sister's handwriting even switched over and changed, and she was writing like my grandmother. Um, and my grandma was absolutely coming through, and she said all kinds of stuff, and it was dead on. And it was kind of crazy because she'd say whatever, and then she would switch over to this, and then she'd switch over to that. And that's how my granny used to talk too. And she would just, and it was pretty crazy. It was pretty wild. But I didn't know, at least then, and maybe I don't know if this always happens, but your handwriting would actually become,
Becomes different. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and it did look not
Happened to
exactly like, but it was kind of like a combination. My sister, I've never seen anybody write like my sister. And she's got beautiful handwriting, but it's very not that I'm saying it's so unusual. I just have never seen anybody that writes like my sister. And my grandma's handwriting though was more like a lot of women of her time, how they wrote, and
Same with my
anyways, it
mom.
just,
Beautiful. Mm-hmm.
and it just looked, my mom had beautiful handwriting, but who I'm talking about is actually my mom's mom that came through. We all called her Granny, but she
Oh,
came through, and but anyways, it was just really cool. But I haven't tried automatic writing, but I'll see what I can find out, and I'll give it
I
a
haven't
try.
done it in a long time, but when I did try it in my 20s, my handwriting did change.
Who did
And
you have
still,
on the other, who were you connected
um,
with, you know?
well, her name was Ava. And this, I didn't discover who she was until about 7 or 8 years ago, when I realized, when I had my ancestry done, that I had two Avas that were great grandmothers way in the past. And after I used my pendulum and asked, okay, which great grandma Ava was this that was communicating with me? It was the one that was on my mom's side with the Irish.
Yeah, I think
So,
you told me that actually, now
mhm.
that I'm thinking about it. Yeah.
And the
I
handwriting
remember the
does
Ava
change.
story.
So, most definitely. And Isadora says, yes, your grandma comes through with the handwriting. Now, my mom, even though she didn't get further than eighth grade, she had the most beautiful handwriting. So, even if I were to want to connect with my mother, I would never be able to write like her. But yeah, your handwriting will change. So
Very
let's
interesting.
see. And let's see. Oh, they're still talking to, oh, they're talking to Tom. I mean, not Tom, to Tim. Okay. So lots of conversations going on in the chat, which we love how everybody just, socializes and hangs out. So, all right, we're at 9:30, and I usually ask my guests, they got anything coming up, but Alison
I've
probably won't
kind
be
of
doing anything
abandoned my
until
channel. I mean, I may come back and do some readings here and there. I don't know. It'll be fun. And I'm still threatening to do a new channel. I
threatening.
just,
Why are you
yeah,
saying threatening?
because it's just a joke. I will at some
I'm
point.
threatening.
I thought for sure I would have done it by now. It's got, the timing's got to feel right. And I also, once
Hmm.
I do it, I want to know that I'm actually going to be um, like posting some content. And I don't know. I'm just not really feeling it right. I'm just not
Yeah.
interested. I mean, I am interested in the subject matter, and I mean, it's what I live, it's what I do, but um, I don't know. I'll do it at some point.
Like you
I
say,
know
that the
I'll do
timing
it.
has got to be right,
Yeah, I don't know.
because you don't want to force something if it's not.
Also something else, you guys. My days are just flying by. The
Yep.
time just goes by so. Like by the time I get home and have dinner and take care of my dogs and do whatever. And, it depends on if I'm doing anything that evening or if I'm seeing Anthony, if I'm not, whatever. And especially if I'm doing that, there's no time. Like just it's like there's nothing. So threatening, I still need to talk with you, Alice. The holiday just got. Oh, that's okay, honey. Yeah, and I'd love to chat. Yeah, it's just time's just going by so
Hmm.
fast. It's just like, oh my God. Which is
Yeah.
another reason, like Anthony and I are talking about moving, because it's like for both of us, he's like, yeah, time in general. It's not just the days. He's like, time is
Seems to be speeding up,
speeding up, and it's
and I
like,
don't like
yeah.
that.
So,
The dreams too.
which
I
is
know we're
okay.
supposed
I
to
got
end, but
another
some of my dreams.
40 years on this planet, I think, hopefully. So,
Hopefully.
but still, yeah.
Let's see. Today's Friday. I don't know if I'll be doing anything over the weekend, but Nancy and I will be back for our Divine Feminine. But it will be on Nancy's channel this Monday. So be sure to subscribe to Nancy, A Crone's Intuition. And I will post on my community tab as a reminder. That link will get created this weekend once I make the thumbnail. And I don't know if anybody saw the thumbnail, that Allyson and I used with our crow. I said, we got to keep him. He's our little mascot. So I named him Corbin. And I didn't get a chance to tell Allyson, but Corbin was the name of a crow. I met this girl through Facebook. She's in spirit now. She's been gone for, oh my goodness, I think 8 or 9 years now. But she was a young woman who did wildlife rescue. She loved working especially with wild birds. And she had found Corbin, who was a crow, when he was a baby, and she raised him. So she, they go for walks. She had him on his tether, and she would make food for him. And she was an artist as well. She died of liver failure due to pharmaceutical meds that were supposed to help with her arthritis. But anyhow, she was awesome, and her crow was Corbin. She called him Corbin the Cordovan. So I named our little crow on our little thumbnails Corbin in honor of her memory. So that's why I'm going to call him Corbin. So that's our little mascot now for our show. And Janet says, yes, I noticed he had a name. Yepers. So everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy, relax, and Alice and I will see you next Friday. Bye, everyone. Thank
Hi,
you again.
everybody.